Hooday, Bengal fans. He is Mon. He is Eric. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our Cincinnati Bengals. Guys, we are now in full swing, getting ready for the draft. We have the NFL annual meetings. We had some rule changes. We had an interview with Zach Taylor. We had an interview with Katie Blackburn. A lot to digest. The guard situation, Trey Hendrickson, and much, much more on tonight's show. But before we do, Mon, how you been, bud?
I'm cranky. Just want to let everybody know that my AirPods don't work. These AirPods don't work. I don't know what to do. And what we're about to talk about is going to make me crankier. But hey, I'm glad we're having a show, and let's talk about it.
All right, Eric, how you doing, bud?
I'm not cranky. I'll bring the positivity. I'll be happy here, even though some of these comments from Katie aren't positive. I have to make a confession though. So I'm going through all this stuff, and I have a producing fail moment. I'm going through all this stuff, trying to make a clip, throw some stuff out on their TikTok, and we've stopped counting episodes. Some time ago we stopped counting episodes, and turns out with our one of our biggest shows this year, where we got to break the news, not the official, but the breaking news that happened on Saturday, where they said T Higgins and Jamar were done. Turns out that was our 200th episode. So congratulations, guys.
Was it
No
really?
big bash like we had for 100, but we're at episode 205 now. So
Wow,
we'll have
wow,
to celebrate at 500 maybe. So.
wow. That man, time flies. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
well, it snuck up because I thought it was going to happen sometime in May, but then we did all those breaking news shows, and then boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
bada bing, bada boom, here we are.
That's crazy. I mean, it really puts in perspective how old Mon is getting.
I mean, we're all aging at the same rate here.
Oh, we are.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, you might by next week's show, your beard might be down to like right here.
well, it might be time for a little refresher. It might be
That
time.
might be why the wife is going by her maiden name in the chat.
That's funny. That was a good one. That was a good one. Uh, I think, guys. Well, obviously, we do have a lot to talk about. There is a lot of things going on right now for not only for the changes of some of the calls. What is this, Jake? My man, you are starting to look like Bluto from Popeye.
He didn't say Popeye. Mon's got Popeye covered over there.
That's good. That's good, John. I'll take that. I'll take Bluto. Yeah, somebody said I look. Somebody said I look. I'm starting to look more like a villain, like like some kind of evil villain. I'm getting that a lot. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
If
don't, I
you
don't know. I don't know
you live long enough, you'll find yourself a villain in somebody's story. Speaking of villain in the story, that's a great segue. Let's get to this comment from Katie Blackburn here. There, story from Kelsey Conway just broke. Katie did her interview. I think we'll get some video of that sooner than later here. But we were reading through this really quickly before we came on air, talking about the Trey Hendrickson contract, and one thing really jumped out to us, so we'll get you guys to chime in on it. Katie says, I think he should be happy at certain rates that maybe he doesn't think he'd be happy at. I think some of it's on him to be happy at some point. I read that as basically we made him an offer that we think is a good market value. He doesn't think so. He's under contract and it's up to him. So what do you guys think about that hot take from Katie? Mon, why don't we go to you first?
Nothing's ever easy with the Bengals. It's just frustrating. I just want to make something crystal clear. I'm so happy about so many aspects of this offseason. Jake, Eric, me, I mean, everybody out there, we knew Jamar Chase was going to get signed. And a majority of the Bengal fans thought 60, 70% sure that T was going to sign, and we were right. There was a couple out there who didn't think it was going to happen, but Bengal fans knew that those two more than likely were going to get signed. The national media, we talk about them the last few episodes. Those guys are trying to create content. But as fans, we knew that was going to happen. Trey Hendrickson, in our hearts, we wanted to happen. A lot of us felt like, hey, he's still under contract. They're going to give him a nice raise. It's just it shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be this hard, and it's frustrating. And that's why they get labeled by the national media, and that's why they frustrate some of the loyal fans like me. It shouldn't be this tough. It shouldn't be. A lot of this stuff should have been done before free agency. We're about to talk, we're going to talk about another subject in a few minutes, and I don't want to jump ahead. The reason that is still a question mark is because the way they handled the big three. I am so grateful that Jamar Chase is here for the next 5 years. I'm so grateful that T. Higgins is here for the next 4 years. I think Jamar's is a continuation of his existing contract, so it's 5. I'm beyond grateful. Elite players. It just doesn't need to be this tough, like we're pulling teeth, because I think it does handicap us. We got a big draft coming up in less than 30 days. And, they have got to hit it out of the park. And the reason they have to hit it out of the park is because of what they do with their contracts. It's frustrating. It's mind-boggling. And it shouldn't be this hard.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. First of all, before I go into this, though, I just want to be very clear. I think in this situation right here, I'm pretty sure I'm the hero and Mon's the villain. But I want to get your guys' comments. So who is the villain? Who is the hero? Is Mon the hero? I'm the villain? Or am I the hero and Mon is the villain? Now, if we go by last week's mock drafts, I am the hero because most of you agreed with mine. So thank you.
Highest grade.
You know what, Eric? It's really frustrating. I think, it's hard-headedness and it's to its finest. We should be used to this by now. Like this is not like some kind of surprise that we weren't expecting, right? This is a situation, although it sounds like the Bengals pretty much have said, listen, I mean, obviously they've offered Trey Hendrickson something. Katie Blackburn would not come out and say those exact words if they did not offer Trey something. So there's obviously a contract somewhere on the table that says, I'm guessing probably 3 years, and I'm going to say probably around 29 million a year added on to what he's already supposed to be getting paid. So probably 3 years. I'm going to say 3 years, right around 72, 73 mil, something like that. Trey obviously feels like he should be getting over 30 million a year. I don't know what he's thinking, but it definitely, if you guys have not read that Kelsey Conway interview with Katie Blackburn, I suggest you do, because it definitely it's very interesting that it sounds kind of like the Bengals are frustrated with Trey as well. So there's probably frustration coming from both sides, but it definitely says that there is an offer on the table, which I would love to know what that offer is. But if one other part of that, Eric, too, is the fact that Katie talks about the situation with him asking for a trade, and she kind of breaks that down a little bit, why they allowed him to go out and ask for a trade. So it's a great article if you guys have not read it. It is an actual interview, so it's not opinionated. For those of you who are not big fans of some people's opinions, but it is an actual interview with Katie Blackburn.
Yeah. Well, and that's the first article and typically this is a sit down recorded interview, so we should get some video from that. It's probably going to come from Hobson because I think he's usually there too, or maybe Daner. It's usually a couple of the trusted reporters. So I think we will get video. We'll get a little bit more context. Maybe once we could see how Katie's talking about it, is it just coming off as kind of cold and monotone, or is she not wanting to kind of overplay her hand? So we'll see if that comes out and see where it goes.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point, Eric. I think that's part of it too. Is I don't. I think that's a great point. I don't think Katie. I don't think Katie wants to say too much, and like you said, maybe overplay her hand. But it sounds like the Bengals are staying pat. He's not getting traded. We found that out already. So Trey Hendrickson, as she said, the ball's in his court. So that means that there's a contract there, and Trey Mon, it's up to him what he wants to do from there.
Yeah, obviously we don't know what the contract is, and we're going to get. We are going to get. I'm sure that will get released either by his agent or by somebody. A Bengal insider will potentially try to make themselves look good. We just got to when those numbers are released, we got to look at the guarantees because that's what players look at. I'm totally team Trey here, 100%. I said it last week, the week before that. He is the most dominant pass rusher in football next to Myles Garrett. He doesn't have a counterpart to take the heat off of him. He gets chipped all the time. Defensive coordinators know that he's the only threat on our defensive line. We don't have anybody else that has even come close to double-digit sacks the last 2 years that take pressure off. The guy, Watt for Pittsburgh, has Highsmith. Okay. Malcolm Kuntz, he got hurt last year, but the year before he had a bunch of sacks and he helped out the rush in for the Raiders. Crosby. Every dominant pass rusher has a counterpart that puts up really good numbers. Trey's never had that. He's a one-man wrecking machine, and if he wants to be the second highest-paid defensive end in football, he deserves it. He deserves it. And it's just frustrating, man. It really is. And oh well, let's move on to the next subject.
Yeah.
Last thing. Let me say this one last thing really quick. I do think that it's worth mentioning that, and again, Mon, I'm with you. I am completely pro Trey here. I think Trey deserves to get paid. I want to see Trey in stripes. But I do think that we cannot leave out the fact that Trey's agent completely botched this entire situation and has made this a serious. I really think this is another one of those situations where the agent has not done his part and now has gotten between an organization and a player. So I think there's fault on the Bengals side, but I think you cannot leave out the fact that Trey Hendrickson's agent botched this thing from the beginning. And we are in this situation now, not only because of the Bengals, Mon, but because of Trey's agent as well.
Reds finally got a hit, by the way. Okay. Yeah.
End of the show.
No longer
no hit.
They're no longer no hit. Well, there would be a no hit. It scared me. Okay. No, you're right. He did. He screwed it up. But, Duke Tobin said it a few weeks ago. We know he deserves a raise. And, listen, Trey's agent. I'm not saying he's making up for his mistake, but he sees what these other dominant pass rushers are making, and he wants his guy to make that too. And it's going to be interesting to monitor. To me, it looks like the trade option is still there. And if it happens, I hope it happens before the draft because we need draft capital. And I hope it doesn't happen. But if it does, let's get it because let's get it done before this draft.
Yeah. And his agent definitely did kind of hurt him there because if he doesn't sign that extension and if he just waits a year, there's no way we could tag Trey because we had to tag T. We weren't going to tag both of them. You're not allowed to do that. So he would have been a free agent. He would have hit the market. He would have gotten 35 a year. I don't think that Trey doesn't have a lot on his side because he can't hold out. He's not going to get paid if he holds out. Maybe he can hold out to week 5 or 6, but at a certain point, you don't get granted that year, and he's going to be out $16 million. He said many times, "I got to take care of my family." Well, you can't leave $16 million on the table when you're trying to take care of your family and not be guaranteed another year. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. There are some people that believe it's going to come to draft day, and some team might not get the edge rusher they want, and they might throw that 23rd, 24th pick at the Bengals and say, "Hey, we want him." And what are the Bengals going to do? At that point, they might say, "Let's go." With that, let's get to the subject of tonight. Bengals, we've all said all offseason, interior offensive line. We got a lot of needs, but that's been kind of hammered home as one of them. Zach Taylor in his press conference said that the Bengals are likely done looking at free agent guards until the draft and then see where it goes. I've got a lot of questions around this for you guys, but I want to start with this one. Brandon Scherf really seems there's not a lot of talk out there. He's not visiting teams, he's not doing a lot of things. I'm kind of going down the thought today. Is there something out there? Have the Bengals reached out? Maybe there's a deal in place or a conversation in place where he says, you know what, I want to be a starter. I want 2 years as a starter. Come to me after the draft because I don't want to sign a deal and then you go draft two guys to replace me. Let me get you guys' thoughts on it. Do you think that there could be something like that in the works with Brandon Scherf that, hey, he's basically waiting to see the Bengals draft strategy, and if we draft two or three offensive linemen, he's not going to bother with us. Jake, we'll get you first.
I don't know, Eric. I just don't see that being the case. I don't know what is going on with Sheriff. I'm not sure why we have not heard any. And we just ground to a double play. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why we haven't heard anything. I do think that's odd because to me he's one of the best guards in free agency this year. Honestly, guys, probably one of the most surefire because Freeze coming off. What?
Surefire?
Yeah, right. Freeze coming off of injury. You had a couple of those bigger name guys coming off of injury. Obviously, Trey Smith he got tagged and re-signed. So to me, he was one of the top guards in free agency, if not the number one guard. And you have not heard anything from anyone about this guy. It really doesn't make any sense. All I know is this, that if the Bengals' plan is to go into the draft with Jackson Kirkland, Cody Ford, Cordell Volson, and
Lucas Patrick.
Listen, guys, that is not a good recipe for success. And I'm going to tell you this right now. To me, Zach Taylor saying this is a much bigger concern than the Trey Hendrickson, Katie Blackburn stuff. This, to me, it spells disaster for the Bengals because we know, guys, that this team is absolutely terrible at drafting and developing offensive linemen. Now, again, I'm hoping the whole new regime in that room is going to change all of that, but you better show me that before you're going to tell me that. And if our plan is to go into the season with those four guys, I am not going to be very happy. I'm going to tell you right now. I am going to look like Mon looks right now for the next 6 months, if that is the case.
Mon, rebuttal, Mon.
Jake's going to look fantastic if he's going to look like
Yay, there you go.
That's what I meant. I'm going to look like a hero.
He doesn't want to look fantastic.
I'm going to look like a hero.
Paul Daner last week on his Growler podcast said this, so I want to give him credit. He mentioned that the guard play last year was terrible. I mean, so basically the Bengals are banking on it. It can't be as bad as last year. Nobody in the Bengals organization told him that, but that's what Paul Daner, who follows the Bengals, he's around Paycor all the time and the coaches. It was so bad last year, it's basically impossible to be that bad again. That is not a strategy if the Bengals front office is thinking that way. You don't build a roster that way. Hey, man, Cody Ford and Lucas Patrick, they're going to be about 5-10% better. That's all we need. We scored 38 points last year with those bad guards. That's not how you build a team. Mm-mm. I don't want to be just a little bit better. Guys, we got to be crystal clear here. I know everybody's sick and tired of hearing this. Our guys had career years last year. Triple crown for Chase, 17 and a half sacks for Hendrickson, and Burrow should have received MVP votes. He should have won the thing, but it wasn't good enough. It was canceled out because our guard play was that horrible, and our defensive line and our defense was terrible. The greatness of those three were canceled out because of those critical weaknesses on our roster. It's a serious roster flaw that needed to get addressed. We know Chase, we know Higgins, we know Hendrickson, we know Burrow are going to produce at high levels. We know that. But guys, we have to take a step back here. If we expect them to play at the 2024 level every year, that's not realistic. There's going to be a slight dip. It's still going to be productive play, but it's going to be a little bit of a dip. Jamar Chase isn't going to win the Triple Crown every year. All right. So if the Bengals, come on, man. When you have a critical roster flaw like we did at guard, and they basically haven't done anything. And it is concerning, Jake. You're absolutely right. It could cost us 2-3 games.
Okay, so that's kind of where I wanted to go with this. I've got 3 questions for you guys because we go back and forth when we do these mock drafts on, do we want an edge rusher? Do we want a defensive interior? Do we want a safety? Do we want an offensive lineman? We kind of go back on, we've got a lot of needs and we kind of think that all 4 of those are strong needs, but I would argue that we've got one need. So let me go ask you guys a couple questions and just give me yes, no answers, and then we'll get to my point. So my first question is for you. Do you both agree that a healthy Joe Burrow is the key to a deep playoff run?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. That's
yeah. We could fix it. We can fix the defense all we want, but without a healthy Joe Burrow, we're not going to Super Bowl.
100%.
Okay. So last year, Burrow showed phenomenal poise and escapability with a very poor interior offensive line. Do either one of you guys think that that's sustainable long term?
Go ahead, Mon.
I personally don't think it is. He is an elite Joe Burrow is a very, very good athlete. He doesn't get enough credit for it. We saw it last year, the way he improvised. But do we have to make it that hard on him every week? We shouldn't have to make him that hard on him. I just want to mention one other thing on my meltdown earlier. It's the Scott Peters show. The Bengals are putting a lot of pressure on that offensive line coach.
Oh, that's my final question. We go round and round.
No, let Jake answer that.
I want to go back to the last question real quick. I want to say this. Do you guys feel like Joe Burrow is almost he is almost too good to a fault, right? He has given this organization and these coaches the thought process of, like Mon said, we heard Duke Tobin say, listen, guys, we're scoring 40 points last year. It's not the offense, blah, 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 blah. Well, why not give Joe Burrow an interior offensive line like Patrick Mahomes has, and then you get that 40 points every year. Like Mon said, it's not sustainable to do what these guys did last year. It's just not going to happen. Listen, the Bengals' offense is always going to be good. You got Joe Burrow. You got for 5 more years. You got Jamar Chase for 5 more years. You got T. Higgins for 4 years. You got Chase Brown, for the next couple of years. I'm sure he'll re-sign. You got Mike Gesicki for the next 3 years. Listen, you got the weapons. You got the dudes. But it's just still not sustainable. And Joe Burrow, you got to be wondering what he's kind of thinking, right, Mon? Like, Joe Burrow's got to be sitting back there like, guys, listen, you got rid of Kappa, right? Who are you replacing Kappa? You're telling me that Lucas Patrick is the replacement for Kappa? Joe Burrow's got to be in the back of his mind thinking, what the hell are we doing here? We made no attempt to go out and get a legitimate guard. And I don't mean that badly to Lucas Patrick, but listen, dude, the sample size is not what we want it to be. So it is what it is. The Bengals have got to fix this. Where I'm pissed off is we're going to have to go and reach and get a damn offensive guard now in the first round. That's going to piss me off.
So that's kind of where I'm going. And on those guys that we did sign or we're still rolling with it, the greatest, what is it? The greatest predictor of future performance is past performance. And those guys weren't starters. And unfortunately, Cordell Volson wasn't playing like a starter. He got benched for Cody Ford. So that's my last question. Based on, we talk about needs, and we a lot of times we go into defensive tackle, safety, insert whoever here in the first round and the second round. But based on this round table, I think the Bengals are probably there. But shouldn't we be there? That right now, based on this strategy, our greatest need is guard, and unfortunately, that's going to have to be first round and probably third round, maybe first and second if somebody falls. What are you guys' thoughts? Do you think that there's anywhere else that you would want to go just because we have to fix that because we have to have Joe protected?
You want me to go first, Mon? You want to go first?
Mine's muted. So go ahead, Jake.
You're on mute. Listen, the answer is no, because we have a situation at the edge position where our number one edge guy right now is got a contract issue. So,
But my point is I don't give a crap who's rushing their quarterback. If my quarterback's on the ground with a broken ankle, it doesn't effing matter what our edge rusher is doing.
But Eric, I understand that, but our defense is the reason why we sat at home when the playoffs started.
But if Joe Burrow is sacked as many times as he has been, we will never get back there.
I understand, but the defense got to be. We have got to fix this defense, or it doesn't matter how good Joe Burrow plays. We saw it. Joe Burrow should have won the MVP this year, and we didn't make the playoffs. We had our wide receiver won the Triple Crown, and we did not make the playoffs. We had one of the top 10 offenses in the NFL, and we didn't make the playoffs. We broke all these crazy records, and we didn't make the playoffs because our defense sucked. It was awful. It was borderline historically awful. I mean, going down as one of the worst defenses in Bengals history. You cannot go into next season, and they haven't fixed it, Eric. They haven't fixed the defense. So no, guard.
I'm just my argument is that you have to protect Joe Burrow, and over everything else, you have to protect Joe Burrow. You've got glaring holes. You got to fix that first. Mon, what's your take on this?
It's hard to disagree with them. Last night, Ace and Zim had their mock draft, and I think they showed a lot of courage. They went BPA, and they took Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia. And that's what's going to be the travesty here. There's going to be a top 10 talent that drops to 17, 18 that we're not going to consider because we have to go for a need. And if we draft a guard from Texas, one of those guys, and if he's ranked 15, 16, that's not a reach. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. But if they end up trading back, okay, which they could in the first round, that guard from Georgia has gone from a third-round pick to a second-round pick. Some people are even saying late first. Why just trade back and get Tate Ratledge from Georgia? Okay, we need bodies there. I don't know. I just hate that the flexibility of taking BPA is pretty much off the board. Now, I will say this. Let me get some positive vibes here. Talking about Scott Peters, talking about that press conference the other day at the owners' meeting. Zach Taylor did emphasize running the ball better and more consistently. How do we help that defense? Controlling the ball a little bit more, running the ball more. How do we protect Joe? Running the ball a little bit more. So that was really encouraging. And Scott Peters, maybe his style, maybe the Bengals can run the ball a little bit more efficiently. That could go a long way in helping our defense while they figure things out. So Jake, like you said, they're going to be the Colts. Okay, a lot of young players, a lot of young defensive talent that has to develop. How do you protect them? Let's get our Edger and James. Let's run the ball a little bit. So,
Ashton Genty, you want him?
I don't know about that. I don't know
So
about
this
that.
this whole my whole thought experiment was really triggered by your post on X the other day, because you really went out there and said, the Bengals are forcing themselves to go guard because defensive tackle is so deep in this draft. They're forcing themselves to go offensive line in the first and probably the third. My thing with the edge rusher, I honestly think the Bengals have penciled in Trey. Trey's gonna be there. We do not have to replace Trey. And I really think that they are not edge rusher is not on their board because they believe in Miles Murphy, they believe in Joseph Asai, and they believe in Johnson. Was it Cedric Johnson from last year? They think that they have those guys, and adding another edge, he's not going to be able to get in the room and see that much time out there. So I don't think that edge is as high on their list as it is on our list because we don't see Trey getting this extension, but Trey is under contract.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say in 2 weeks, the Bengals decide to trade Trey Hendrickson. Does Does rush in become a must need at 17? I think it does.
And then it's on the table. Yeah, I'm of the opinion
I
that
think it's
Trey
a bigger
is
need
theirs.
than guard if that happens. If that happens to me, it's a bigger need than guard because we cannot rush the passer right now. Yes, Miles Murphy, first round pick. But all those other guys you mentioned, I still have high hopes for. But right now, it's hope. It's hope.
Listen, I want to say this really quick. I am not just on the edge boat because I do think probably best player available when the Bengals are picking at 17 is probably going to be a defensive lineman. I'm on best player available boat. That's what I'm on. To me, the Bengals have always tried to go out and fill a position instead of getting the best player available. To me, the Bengals have got to go best player available here. It's going to be a position on defense. It's going to be. I think it's going to be defensive line. But listen, I'm with Ace and Zim. If the best player available is a safety or somebody on the back end of this defense that can fix what was broken 2 years ago when Jesse Bates left and has not been fixed yet. I'm on the best player available train. I really am. And to me, Mon, I guess what I'm saying is the Bengals picking at 17, they go out and get a guy that they could have traded back and got at 25 or 26. I'm going to lose my mind because that is a reach. You know what I mean?
You're on the best defensive player available. Let's just put that out there.
There's a lot of solid offensive linemen that are going to be, ranked anywhere from 10 to 20, 25. If the Bengals get one of them at 17, I don't think it's a reach. It's not a sexy pick. I get it, but it's a needed pick. Now, what we talked about, if there's a guy that's rated, high in the second round that starts flirting with, late first round possibility, I don't want the Bengals to fall in love with him at 17. All right. Like Zim did last night in Ace, if Malachi Starks is there, somebody like that, I mean, it's going to be really hard to pass on them. It really is. So at 49, 81, you have got to hit with those trench picks. You got to. And right now, the Bengals invested a lot last year. 3 draft picks on the defensive line. I think we need right now, because I'm still saying Trey's going to be a Bengal. If Trey gets traded, I think the Bengals need to consider defensive end immediately.
I think you look at the successful, the organizations that draft successfully, the majority of them in the first round go best player available. They don't worry about what their roster looks like. They don't worry about any of that stuff. They go best player available, and that is why they are successful when it comes to drafting. These teams don't reach for position. A lot of these teams in the first round go best player available. The ones that reach are the ones that fail. And I just feel like the Bengals have done a lot of failing lately.
I just to play devil's advocate here, I agree with you. I agree with you. But the teams you're talking about, guys, I'm telling you, our interior offensive line as is bottom 3 in football.
It is.
Okay. Our defensive line, we have promising pieces there that still need to develop, but they haven't yet. I understand we got to be a little patient, but we have one real productive player, and that's Trey Hendrickson. Osai did flash. I'm still big on Murphy, but you know what? That's a big unknown also. So I sort of think that luxury of best player available, that the tight end from Penn State, Malachi Starks, one of those guys. Trust me, I'm all for BPA, but it might be a little rich for this team because we have massive needs.
Yeah, I know, and I think, and that's what I said before. I think Jake's best defensive player available, and I think that could be a strategy that the Bengals are okay with because they know this defense is so bad. Because if Ashton Genty's sitting there, Jake doesn't want us to draft him, even though that's the best player available. I think the Bengals are going to be in that same mindset. I just, I don't, I still think where they've put themselves. They could sign Brandon Scherf right now. They could sign the Hernandez out of Arizona right now and shore up those holes and really then focus on the defense, but they're not doing it. And we have to finally give Joe Burrow a top 15 offensive line. I'd love a top one offensive line, but give him a top 15, and it's going to be unstoppable. And to what one of Mon's points all along, we say it all the time the other way, but the best defense is a good offense that's controlling the clock, that's eating up the time, that's keeping the other team off the field. You give Joe Burrow a top 10 offensive line and Chase Brown a top 10 offensive line, we're going to get 2-1 possession time. They're not going to be able to score because we're going to have the ball. Mon,
Let me give you a hot take. I know it's
I'll
not.
write it down.
It
36
it
minutes
may
in.
not be realistic. Okay, if Joe Burrow stays healthy all year, and that Cincinnati Bengal rushing attack can get to the 18, 17 mark in the NFL, 16 maybe, we're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
We're
and you
going to win
get
the
there with
Super
good
Bowl.
guards.
If Joe Burrow stays healthy and we get up to 15, 16, 17, 18 and rushing the ball, that means our defense is, we're helping our defense out. That means Patrick Mahomes on the bench a little bit more. That means Josh Allen's on the bench when he plays us. That means Herbert's on the bench a little bit more. We're going to the Super Bowl and we're going to win.
And that's exactly what you get when you fix the guards because you're going to be able to run the ball up the middle more. You're going to be able to get 4 yards at a pop. You're going to be able to have those 6-minute drives. You're not going to need Jamar Chase to take it to the house in 15 seconds. It's great for him to take it to the house in 15 seconds, but it doesn't help your defense.
I got to say something about this guy right here. Jake, you have changed. I think it's the beard. The old Jake would want 20 wide receivers in this draft. But Jake, you've evolved. You've evolved.
But listen, you say that, but at the time, Mon is right. I was big in drafting receivers because I knew you had to have at least 2 elite receivers, and the Bengals didn't have that up until T and Jamar. So yes, I wanted the receiver thing, but I want to say this too really quick is I'm not saying that the Bengals don't need to fix this offensive line. I'm saying that the Bengals offense was so good last year, guys. And again, I don't want us to forget how absolutely pathetic the defense played. The defense is the reason why we did not make the playoffs, not the offensive guards. So again, let's not forget.
I would.
It's not.
I
Listen,
could give you many moments where Joe Burrow got fumbled, scrambling.
Let me finish.
Many moments where
the Bengals averaged 33, 34 points a game, something crazy like that. If you look at the NFL average for that mark for scoring on average those many points, there is no way in hell it's possible not to make the playoffs unless your defense is giving up 35 points a game.
they only gave up 25 points a game.
It's not feasible to not think that if there's a player at 17 that is a stud on defense, that is a guy that can change your defense, like again, I don't want to contrast and compare, but the Eagles built their defense on drafting, and it's the best defense in football. Well, it was last year. I don't think it is now after the offseason, but the Bengals cannot pass up at 17 the best defensive player available on the board, especially if it's a guy that was, a top 10 type of player. You cannot pass that up. I don't care what position it is on defense. The Bengals have got to have another game changer to go along with Trey Hendrickson.
I hear you. And Divine, that's a great point. Yeah, the Bengals, created a lot of turnovers the last 5-6 games of the season. That's a promising thing. They have to get better. The Achilles heel was our defense, but we can't give the offense a free pass in this sense. We had 4 double-digit leads last year, and we couldn't put the teams away late in the third quarter and the fourth quarter because we can't run the ball. Guys, our running game is smoke and mirrors. All right? 30 is a great little running back. I like him a lot. Okay? Chase Brown is a good player, but he can't get 20, 25 touches a game. That isn't sustainable. All right? We have to get a bruiser, thunder and lightning. We have to be able to convert on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 3rd and short. We have to put these teams away. I want Lamar Jackson to have the ball if Lamar Jackson had the ball 2 less minutes in those games last year, we win both of them. Yeah. Both of them.
Or if the defense
yes, and you're right. That's a good point. If the defense could get a couple stops on 3rd down, we win that game. But you know what? That's where our offense has got to help the defense. They got to, guys.
Yeah.
It's a defense's fault too. I mean, third and 15, the other team converts. How many times did that happen? All right. Yeah. But in our worst losses, we only had the ball 24 minutes and we still put up points.
Let me say this. I'm gonna throw this out here real quick. The Bengals offense averaged almost 366 yards a game. The Bengals defense gave up 350 yards a game.
Yeah, I'm just saying what Joe did last year is not sustainable. He shouldn't have to work that hard. He was Joe Dini every freaking game, and if he's going to have to continue to do that, he's going to get injured again. And I hate to say that. To me,
don't say that.
Fixing those guards before all else is going to solve those problems. And you're not the defense is going to be helped out by it because they're not going to be on the field as much because we're going to be able to have long sustained drives, 7-minute drives instead of 3-minute drives. A 3-minute touchdown drive is great, except for your defense is going to be gassed. Got to fix those guards. You got to go.
Bruce B's comment about the TV. That's Jake at my house. I'm worried he's going to break my TV.
Listen, real quick. Just real quick. The Bengals averaged, I know I'm still on this. The Bengals averaged almost 28 points a game. The defense almost gave up 26 points a game.
Jake, how many times was he sacked last year and how many times was he hit? It's not sustainable. If they don't protect him better,
sustainable. I'm talking about winning Super Bowls.
But I'm saying our defense,
right? But if
our defense could evolve into a top 5 unit, but if we don't have our quarterback, it don't matter.
What was the average time of possession for the Bengals last year? Do you know that?
I can find out for you.
I'm going to die on this hill. You got to fix those guards. So here's the scenario that I don't want to see, and this is we're one. We think you said it before, but I'll say it a little differently. The Bengals absolutely use Joe Burrow as their crutch. They say we got Joe Burrow, so we don't have to have elite guard play, and that's just bullshit. You got to have elite guard play to get Joe Burrow where you need to go. I'll drop it. That's what it is.
BS drop. I love it.
Let's do a mock draft. Let's do it.
Well, that's where I wanted to go.
Let's get to Fuzzy's comment. Fuzzy gave us a super chat. Thank you so much, Fuzzy. We appreciate that, dude.
So Fuzzy Balls saw a proposed trade where the Colts gave a 2nd rounder and Kwity Paye for Trey. You guys taking that deal?
No way. Guys, we cannot trade Trey Hendrickson. You understand something, guys. I don't care. I don't care what's going on contractually and all that negotiating stuff. The Bengals are not going to get to the Super Bowl without Trey Hendrickson. This team is better with Trey Hendrickson. There's no draft picks. There's no trade that is going to replace Trey Hendrickson. So no,
I'll say this. If it's a week before the draft and he still hasn't signed, or a few days before the draft, I'd take that trade. Guys,
Fuzzy said it's a very high second. Fuzzy said it's a very high second.
I would not listen. I want a solution to Trey Hendrickson's situation before the draft. That's all I'm asking for. I want him to be a Bengal, but if he's not, I want a solution. I want a solution to that situation.
We got another super chat here from Wandering Monk 73 saying, "Let's remember we got to the Super Bowl with the worst O line in football, drafting defense, not a guard at 17."
Monk,
I agree, but to that
Good
point,
job,
that's not
Wandering.
sustainable. That's a crutch. That is
Great
a
job,
crutch the
Wandering.
Bengals are
Wandering
relying
Monk.
on.
Let's not make it that hard on Joe. Let's not do it. You're right. You're absolutely right. And that's something that I think historians are going to look at one day and say, wow, that Bengal team did that with that group of people. And I mean, it's absolutely us Bengal fans know how bad they were. We were at the game, okay? And but we don't. I just want this. Hey, man, and all we need is Joe. I don't want to hear that anymore. Let's not make it hard on him. Let's not do that. I don't want him to have to be a Kryptonian every week. All right. I want him just to go out and play solid football and not have to carry the whole team on his back every week.
Oh, that's just it. If Joe doesn't have to be Superman every week, he's going to throw for 400 yards a week, and we're going to go and win these games that we should win by 14 points. He's not going to get hit. We're not going to have to worry about more surgeries. That's to my point. You have another point, Jake?
I was just going to say, shame on the Bengals for making us have this argument. Shame on the Bengals for making Eric say a potty word. This is your fault. Listen. This is your fault, organization, front office. Eric, you made Eric say a potty word, and this is on them. Listen, seriously, this is on them for putting the Bengals in this situation where we have to argue if they need to take a guard or best player available. This is their fault. And now Eric has said a potty word and has probably got to put a quarter in a jar somewhere.
Listen, no. If you were here when I'm watching the Bengals, you would hear it. But the point is, the Bengals. I like Matt Jenkins' comment here. The point was that we got to the Super Bowl with that offensive line, but we absolutely lost it because of the guard play. Joe has half a second more. Jamar Chase is wide open, a walk-off touchdown. So yes, it got us there. It didn't get us there. We got there in spite of it, and we lost because of it. And that's what is effed up. And you know what? If the Bengals come out of this draft without two starting guards and they don't immediately go sign Scherf or Hernandez or somebody, I will drop the first F-bomb on Bengals Pulse, and you guys can fire me, but it's going to be fire.
Is that the first F-bomb? Has there never been an F-bomb on here?
No, I want you to think about it.
There's been a word, but it's not an F-bomb.
Okay.
Think about the philosophy they had when they drafted Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, the franchise quarterback, Mr. LSU. They went out and signed John Jerry. They went out and signed these cast-off. I mean, Quentin Spain was one of the best offensive linemen on that team. All right, and he's the one that whiffed on that last play to Aaron Donald.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, the Bengals obviously are stuck in the 70s and 80s where they had late draft picks that turned into be all pros, and they still think they can do that, you know, and they need to get out of that. But go ahead with that super chat.
We do have another super chat from Wandering Monk, and he brings up that we lost on a bad goal line penalty. Yeah, we don't want to talk about Logan Wilson play.
He's
Yeah,
right,
that was
though. He's right. One of the worst calls in Super Bowl history. I saw it live because I was pacing in the back and forth in where the cafe tables were. I saw it up close and personal. Absolutely one of the worst calls in Super Bowl history.
Yeah. All right. So we're 50 minutes in. Let's see if we can do a quick 10-minute draft.
Three rounds. Let's do 3 rounds.
3 rounds.
I got it set up for 4.
Okay, it's a group Bengals Pulse one, you know, not individually. Let's do it.
Well, we're going to debate the hell out of this one then because it's going to be offensive versus defense. Hold on, let me get it set up here.
Rochambeau.
Hey, listen, people. There's 70 plus people in our chat right now. Do me a favor. Chime in and tell us who we should pick.
Ooh.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I do want to bring this up because I see it on my screen here. The Bengals, I don't think, have drafted a defensive tackle in the first round since Dan Wilkinson. Is
Hey,
that correct? Dan Wilkinson was the first one.
throw up Fuzzy's comment real quick. That's so great.
Yes, that's true. Mama T dropped
Mama
enough F-bombs
T,
for everyone in her
that's a
interview.
great interview. She's so
Yeah,
awesome.
I can't compete with Mama T's F-bombs, but I think it's more surprising
Guys,
if Eric drops one.
my wife is yelling at me because I'm turning my head to watch the Reds. I apologize, fans. Okay,
Oh,
continue.
and we promised some Reds talk too, so let's get through this mock draft real quickly if we can.
You
Um,
really want Mon and I to crash out on here talking about the Reds, don't you?
well, I got some questions on the Reds because they're interesting. Oh, look at this. Okay, can you guys see the screen?
I
No.
cannot. I'm old. I need to blow this up. Sorry, guys.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
Oh, we're sitting at pick 17, and the number one, the best player available, because Jake wants to go best player available, is a wide receiver out of Arizona, ranked number three. The third best player in the draft is sitting there at 17, and you're not going to take him.
No, but I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go right below him and take Malachi Starks. That's what I'm going to do.
Hold on. Yeah, I would too, but you got to look at the trade offers. You got to look at the trade offers.
How is McMillan? There's no way McMillan will be there at 17. There's no possible way.
Okay, I don't want to trade with them.
Real quick though. If McMillan is there at 17, the Bengals have got to trade down, right? I mean, somebody is going to throw some crazy stuff at them if McMillan is sitting there at 17. There is no way it's going to happen. But if I'm the Bengals, I am trading down for sure if McMillan's there at 17.
So the only people we have interested in the pick are the Texans with pick 25.
No.
So if we were to do that,
do we want to trade with a rival like that? Okay, listen. If we got the 25th pick and the 50, go back to their
25th and 58
for 17, I'd do that in a second, personally.
What is it?
25 and 58, so a first and a second.
Ooh.
We'd move back 8 spots and get at the 58th pick. Well, let's see who's on the board here still. McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona, Malachi Starks, another wide receiver, Luther Burden, James Pierce Jr., Donovan Izaruka, Kenneth Grant, Josh Simmons, tackle at Ohio State, another wide receiver, Kelvin Banks, tackle, Texas. Walter Nolan is still there.
We want to help a team that we're going to have to compete against.
I am not trading to the Texans. I am taking.
Well, we don't play him this year.
Let's draft a player.
I'm taking Malachi Starks. That's my pick. Malachi Starks. Let's talk about it.
Mon, are you in on Malachi Starks?
Scroll down some more. Simmons and Banks would not be reaches. Those guys are highly thought of. They're not Billy Prices. The guys, I'm a Malachi Starks guy. He's a top 10 talent. He's there at 17. I agree with Ace and Zim last night. They picked him also. How can you not? I'm sorry. I picked Starks.
We fixed the Jesse Bates situation. The Jesse Bates
and
situation hopefully fixed.
You cut Geno Stone the next day?
No, I don't. We talked about this. I think Geno is still on this team. I think Geno and Malachi Starks is a good combo.
All right, I'm going to draft him for you guys then.
Okay, let's do it. All right. Now listen.
Get to the second.
Okay, I just want to let you know the Bengals love trading in the second round. So let's see what options we got.
All right.
Okay, let's get to where we're at. The top players on the board. We're picking at 49, the 33rd best player, Demetrius Knight, Landon Jackson. Here's my problem though: is you just drafted defense in the first round. You're sitting here in the second round, and you still haven't addressed your guard.
Yeah, but that's
Are you going to roll the dice?
It's a reach, man.
Yeah, but
dude, I mean
that's what I'm saying. You're going to roll the dice.
Hey, let's look at trades. Trades.
Oof.
So we can move back 2 spots with the Broncos or the Eagles at pick 64.
Let's see. Okay, see what the Broncos. Okay, 51 and 85. Click on 85 for our 49. Okay, it's not going to give them 193.
Well, let's try it first. Just see what happens.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
No.
No, not accepted.
Give them 153. 49 and 153.
Are you giving up your 5th-round pick?
To get another top 100 pick, absolutely. See what it says. Trade possibility. Try it. Yeah,
Nope.
that's too much to ask.
All right. Well, let's go look at who's the other team that was offering
The Eagles.
Eagles. That's a hell of a drop, though, man.
It is. Well, I mean, maybe we pick up a third. I mean, listen, guys, Ratledge is still going to be there at 64, I would think.
Eric, just go back up and just drop down. Go to draft player.
Draft player, you want to look at the trade for the Eagles?
Go back to trade and go to the Eagles. There you go.
64.96.
Yeah, try that. 64.96 for 49. Try it.
Yes,
right.
They accepted it.
That's good. We got two. We got
right.
That's fine. Let's go for it.
Let's move on. See where we see.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, we're sitting at 64. Demetrius Knight is still there. And let's see. We've got 64, 81, and 96. So we got 17 picks after this.
Click on the Minnesota tackle. I've seen him mocked to the Bengals quite a bit. Right there. Go back up. 60. There you go. Click on him. What's his first look?
6'6", 330 pounds. Length. He's got length. He's a tackle. Are you going to have him play guard?
That's a big man. I think that'd be a hell of a pick. I really do. The defensive tackle is we're going to find good defensive players still with our next pick. Remember, we have 2 more top 100 picks.
Can we just look down real quick? Let me just see let me see the next offensive lineman available.
Ozzy Trapilo,
That's
74.
Yeah, I'm not. That to me is
Marcus Mbo.
Yeah, those are reaches to me. Yeah, I'm not liking that. Go back up. I'm with Mon. I think you know what? You know what? If this really worked out the way it did,
there he is. He's a 60th ranked player. There you go.
If this,
but you think he can convert to guard, or they would convert him to guard?
Absolutely. Yeah, he has outside, inside. At 330 pounds, yes, he'd be our biggest guard right now.
Hey, listen. If this were to work out, though, scroll down just a little bit, really quick. And I know we can't spend long on this. That Notre Dame corner right there, that Benjamin Morrison, Al Golden. I could see that being. The pick. We don't have to pick it. I'm gonna let Mon.
No,
shoot.
I think he has an ACL. He's coming off an ACL too, though. So I think that's why he dropped.
Benjamin Morrison.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I say we pick.
Listen, this whole episode, I want you to fix the guards, so I'm good with it.
Okay, let's do it.
Ariante Ursay.
Okay, do it.
All right.
Nice. Okay, we got 2 more top 100 picks.
Sitting at 81, we've got.
Listen, we have got to go edge here.
Yes.
Right?
Oh man, there's some good players there.
I think these next 2 picks have got to be defensive line.
I know FSU struggled last year, but Farmer is a good player. Phillips is a good player. They're interior guys. Type Elijah Roberts. What do you guys think? He's
strong, well-built defensive lineman.
What do you guys
Lacks
think?
the length, twitch, and bend to be a full-time edge player.
Everybody in chat, what do you think?
Played in a 3-4. We typically play a 4-3, so I don't know.
Yeah,
looks too much like a Red Bull.
I don't know. Maybe one of those interior defensive linemen. I mean, Phillips and Farmer both are pretty good football players. I think we go to the one that maybe could be the closest 3 tech, and we roll with that.
I've been Jordan Phillips from Maryland.
Ooh, look at RJ Harvey's there, boys. My UCF Knight. He's sitting there.
6'3", 320. Powerful defensive lineman. Strong.
Yeah, he's on Bruce Feldman's freak list.
Yeah, this guy is, though, he's not a pass rush guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not gonna give you anything.
Yeah.
Go back to there's another defensive lineman. There's a cluster of 3. Type in Joshua Farmer real quick. He's right there, right below it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Starting caliber pass rusher. I don't know.
Yeah,
You guys roasted me for drafting him, even though I got an A-. So go ahead and make my mistake.
I don't know. What about highest
Is-
rated player is the linebacker from Ole Miss, Chris Paul. How many Ole Miss players are in this draft? I mean,
A lot.
that team was
Wait,
stocked.
where's Walter Nolan at? Has he already been drafted?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure he-
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. He's
yeah.
a first rounder. He's a first round. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm all for Farmer, man. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think we have to go. Well, what about this? What about this Vernon Broughton from Texas? He is an interior defensive lineman.
Yeah, he's more of a 3 tech. He's a little 6'4", 305.
Yeah,
And they don't know anything about him. So again,
that's kind of weird.
3-4
All right,
defensive.
I'm good. I'm good if you guys want Farmer. I'm good with that.
Let's do Farmer.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Now we're sitting at our Tate Ratledge pick, right? Is he going to still be here? We got Cameron Williams, another tackle. I don't think he's here.
Hey guys, would you consider a linebacker here?
I'm thinking another defensive lineman. I'm thinking an edge rusher. I don't know who's the top available edge right now.
Oh, this is horrible. Tate Ratledge went to the Ravens at 91.
That's fine.
Wyatt Millam went to the Texans at 89.
Williams from Texas is still there. Search for guard up here, Eric.
Don't you guys think that we need to get an edge guy?
I don't think edge is a need.
Click on edge. Just click on it. I think I think it is a need. Yeah, man, that's not right now.
That's a reach, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Cameron Williams.
Guys, if you look at PFF, the best player available is an offensive lineman. I mean,
is Cameron Williams a guy that could silence out?
Absolutely. Look at that. 6'5", 335.
I got him as a gem to develop on day 2. I don't want development players, but he's the best guy here.
Hey man, we've been preaching DPA.
This makes me so nervous. Williams is a true bet of a prospect.
Yeah.
That makes me.
What about Charles Grant, William and Mary?
He's little.
6'4", 300 pounds.
He's a
ton of raw potential.
I think Williams is going to be great value, guys. At this point, he's great value. 75th ranked player. We're picking him at 96.
I hate that. Don't you guys hate that we did not get an edge though? Oh, that's not. I don't like that.
I just think it's an edge that's not going to see the field.
Well, got to make a decision, fellas.
Yeah, let's pick one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric.
So we questions in the chat just to keep up with our audio listeners too. In the first round, we drafted Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia. Second round, we drafted Ariante Irsay, tackle converting to guard out of Minnesota. Third round, Joshua Farmer, defensive tackle out of Florida State. We picked up an extra third-round pick, which we're picking right now, and we're going to take Cameron Williams, tackle out of Texas.
Look at Lathan Ransom from Ohio State.
We're going to double dip on safety.
I'm just curious. Yeah, he's no. It's all good. It's all good. We can't do that. That would be malpractice. I was just curious. I say we go Cameron Williams.
All right.
Guys, we're targeting the trenches.
Cameron Williams it is.
All right. Now, here's the key. Are we going to do another 2 or what?
We got one more pick or fourth round.
Okay. I think right here, I think we could consider a skill player.
What about guys? What about Robinson from Alabama, the edge rusher?
Quandarius Robinson, edge out of Alabama.
We have got to get an edge guy. What's he, 6'5"?
240.
He's twitchy. He lacks experience. His burst and arm length, NFL caliber. Yeah, I mean, guys, we cannot go top 4. Check running back. Everybody wants to see what running backs, the top running back available.
Yeah, I think we can get a running back later. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think we got to go edge here, guys. We've got to get an edge rusher here.
Yeah, but at 240, is he more of a linebacker than a defensive end? I know the Bengals aren't tight end. That we're used to getting 270-pound guys, but
Fuzzy Ball said the running back from Clemson.
Bill Maffa, Clemson always gets the extra yard. He's going to be a day 3 steal.
Guys,
Also, it's all short gauge yardage must-have situations.
Taj Brooks is going to be a good running back. He's 230 pounds from Texas Tech. Let's go ahead and knock this one out. Who's the BPA right now? I'm just curious. Just
Aeneas Peebles, defensive interior, Virginia Tech.
Yeah, he's built like a 3 tech. He's built like a he's a little smaller than
Listen,
what about your cornerback here, Kobe Bryant?
Let's go Robinson from Alabama. Let's get an edge guy.
Okay, let's do it. Really loading up on the trenches. Do it.
That'll make me feel a lot better. I don't think the Bengals go 4 picks without taking an edge guy either. You can't go wrong with drafting Alabama guys on defense. Look at that. Woo!
A-, but we're in the top 30% of drafts. I think Mons was the top 16% the other night, so we didn't beat Mons' draft.
Okay, so Starks is a winner. I love the tackle from Minnesota. Definitely address the trenches. We need bodies there, guys. We need bodies. And so 4 top 100 picks. 4 picks. 4 players in the top 100. Starks, Ursery, Farmer, and Williams. I'm happy.
And we picked up, like you said, an extra pick. So now we have 7 picks in this draft. I think this is a good look so far. Again, to me, Malachi Starks dropping to the Bengals. If that happens at 17, the Bengals have got to run to the podium because he's a difference maker on defense. He's what we haven't had since Jesse Bates left. So
yeah, I'm all for it. But you know what? I think picks 5 and 6, 2 more picks. I'd love to see a running back, one of those, and I'd love to see a cornerback or a tight end.
What about linebacker? You still need a linebacker.
We do. But, I'm big on Shaka Hayward. I really think he's going to be a good player. I'm excited about him, and, we'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah, hopefully he's not the next Cody Core, because Cody Core, we didn't hear. Mon was all on Cody Core for a couple seasons over and over and over again. And,
God, it was like listening to a broken record.
Yeah, let's not relive that. I guess I can go back. Too bad we weren't doing the podcast then, because that would have been one of the hot takes.
Hey, this is a great question by put up Divine there. We need to get more explosive 3 tech. Divine, let me ask you: do you think McKinley Jackson? I know he's about 325. He looked explosive at times last year. Can McKinley Jackson do that for us? I know normally those 3 techs are 295 to 305 pounds. Is he too big for that? What do you guys think? Do you think McKinley Jackson's too big for that?
I do. I don't see McKinley Jackson in that role. I'm going to agree with Divine here. I think the Bengals have got to go out and find a good pass rushing 3 tech. I do. I don't think they have one on this roster as of yet. I do. I like both of those guys. I like both of the rookie D tackles from last year's draft. I really do. Like I'm big on both of those guys. However,
what game was that he has an explosive first step. He blew up and caused a fumble that was picked up. He was the reason they fumbled. I'm trying to remember. Was it the Tennessee game? I think it was the Titan game. He blew up that guard. and he looked
Yes.
impressive.
It was the Titan game. It was a Titan game. We talked about that quite a bit. But I do.
Wasn't he also responsible for the stop on the goal line against the Panthers?
Might have been. Might have been. He was our biggest defensive tackle, guys. Listen, I'm going to say it right now. Dan Horde said it perfectly before free agency. He was on another competitor's podcast, but he came in. He didn't come in as the play-by-play voice of the Bengals. He came in as a fan. He said the Bengals need to get bigger on the defensive line. McKinley Jackson was our biggest guy. Slayton is going to fill that need. If Farmer falls into place, he's a bigger defensive lineman. We need to get bigger. I'm sick and tired of getting pushed around. And
I do.
Divine is right. Divine is right. We need a Larry Ogunjobi, BJ Hill combo. They gave us 14 and a half sacks that Super Bowl year. 14 and a half sacks from that position.
Listen, I like Jenkins. I'm a big Jenkins guy. Like I think Jenkins could be a steal. I really do. I am very high on Jenkins. I'm high on McKinley Jackson too, but Jenkins to me, I think he is going to be a very good player for this Bengals team for many, many years to come. And I think, again, I just don't know. I don't know if we have that guy yet that can take over the inside of a defensive line where he's getting to the quarterback and causing the pocket to collapse. I'm not saying an Aaron Donald type, but those guys are generational guys. But you know what I mean? A guy that at least is disruptive enough to create what Chris Jones did to us, in 22. So
I don't know that. We definitely didn't have that guy last year. My question is, do the Bengals think that they have that in Chris Jenkins or McKinley Jackson? They're very high on those guys. Are they higher on them than we are and think that they can develop into that? And maybe they don't put defensive tackle as high because they believe in the guys they have there. We're well over time here, guys. We're an hour and 10 minutes in here, but I did promise Bengals Pulse Nation that you guys would talk some Reds baseball. So it's been a lot going on. I don't follow the Reds as much as you guys do, but there's torpedo bats out there now and home runs going left and right, and the Reds are not as horrible as you said they were going to be after the first game. So why don't you guys give us your Reds takes? Mon?
Well, I'm happy. Yesterday they scored 2 touchdowns and won. 14 runs in one game. They're exciting. They got a lot of exciting players. They just got to stay healthy. The starting pitching looks promising. Tonight's game, it's 1-0 in the ninth, and they only have 2 hits. Their bats aren't there today. They were there yesterday. But it's early on. Baseball is a long grind, 162 games, 162 games. And it's all about survival there. I think they only have 24, 25 days off. Think about that. They play that many games, and they don't get a lot of time off. But so far, so good. Their manager is elite. I mean, basically, their manager is like it would be the equivalent of getting like a Bill Belichick to come to Cincinnati. And the Reds got that guy right now. So we'll see how it goes.
Yes, except for putting Ian Jabot in that first game. The guy's terrible. He was terrible last year. I'm high on him. I think you look at Matt McClain being back is absolutely huge for this team. He is, again, before he got hurt, he was a top 10 up and coming player in the league. Him and Ellie in the interior of that infield are absolutely nasty. And you saw yesterday, Ellie can take over a game. When Ellie is on, he is one of the best players in baseball. He showed that yesterday. He can hit with power. He gets on base. Listen, Ellie gets on base, and it's at least a double. So he is that kind of a player. But again, it comes down to the middle relief of this team, and if they're sustainable for 162 games like the Bengals offensive line, they're going to have to show me. They're going to have to prove it to me. But Mon is right. Francona He is one of the best managers in baseball. He has been for a decade. But again, tonight we have 3 hits in a 1-0 game going into the bottom of the 9th. And so
you want to have you want to have some good entertaining TV. Last at bat for the Reds. We should stay on for the next 5 minutes and watch it.
Sure. So give me your thoughts. We could cover 5 minutes. I think just doing the exit promo gets us 5 minutes. But give me your thoughts on these torpedo bats, because I hear Ellie De La Cruz is rocking one too. What are you guys thinking about? What is this a fad, or is this going to be around for a while, Mon?
They're legal. A lot of people are, baseball purists, that they don't like, they want tradition. They don't like these different things. Let the guys play, man. I mean, it is what it is. And I have no problem with it.
I have no problem with it. It makes the game more exciting. I mean, I think that's what baseball wants is, it's like I know Thursday we're going to talk about the new kickoff rule and all that, but it's kind of like the same thing, right? They want runs scored. They want that excitement brought to the parks every day. The Yankees are definitely using torpedo bats because those dudes have hit I think 23 home runs in their first 6 games or something crazy like that. Yeah, and no, Tom, I have not got my shirt yet, but I absolutely am going to get that shirt that Cincinnati is a drinking town with a sports problem. That's so crazy.
So Jennifer has a question, so I'm going to throw up on the screen here.
Oh, wait. I think we had a pinch hitter, right?
Yeah. He's down 0-1. You may be ahead of me by a couple seconds.
Oh, no. Base hit. We got a runner on. See, this is good luck.
Listen, baseball games.
No cork. No cork inside, Jennifer. No cork. No. The bat's shaped differently.
Yeah, I'm trying to show it on the screen here. Give me just a second.
Top of the lineup up. We got a runner on first.
Come on, baby. Walk it off. Let's go.
Basically, the torpedo bat, as opposed to a regular bat, being kind of wide this whole way and gradually getting longer. The torpedo bat is shaped like a torpedo. They move most of the wood or the mass right here where the batter hits. They design it individually for each batter based on where he normally hits the ball. They put more mass in that position, which has allowed them to hit more home runs and get more pop out there. I'm all for it. I'm of the let's give us the torpedo bats. Let's go back to the juiced ball era. Heck, let's go back to the Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa days. Let them do whatever they want. Give me 72 home runs a season, then we'll be bought in. Let's go.
That was a crazy.
So look at this. So Jake, the Reds are playing small ball now. They're trying to bunt. They're trying to get the runner to second. And look, the Rangers are already warming up in their bullpen. They're worried.
Yeah, so we're going to be playing small ball. They're going to get tied, and then you're going to stay on for another 45 minutes for extra innings.
Hey, all you got to do is get the guy to second base. A base hit wins the game. It's a walk-off. That's all you got to do.
Yeah,
so
I'm just saying
I'm all for it. Are you watching it, Jake, live?
You need a walk-off right now so that we can end this episode.
I don't have a TV in the bingo room, but I'm watching it. I'm watching it live.
Come on, just give us the play-by-play.
No, I can't watch because we'll get in trouble if I.
I don't understand. I don't understand the small ball thing right now because you're down by one.
You know what? They're trying to bunt. Get the guy to second base. A double play would kill us. Still.
Yeah, double play definitely kills you here, but you do have Matt McClain up.
It's a horrible bunt, man.
No, he messed up. I can't watch. Mon's ahead of me. He's watching it on TV. Oh my God, he got thrown out at second. Oh,
what a terrible bunt, man!
Bob says.
What is that?
Bob says copyright, guys.
Yeah,
you can talk it. You just can't show it on TV, right?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Let's get a walk off, man. I tell you what,
come on, Maddie.
That'd be fun podcasting if that happens.
Come on, Maddie.
It would.
Come on, Maddie.
We just got dead air here. We're
Listen, this pitcher is about to pitch a complete game. He's at 92 pitches.
Don't say that. We're about to ruin this thing.
Yeah, we are. He's
yeah.
tired.
Oh yeah. So he's not going to get a complete game because their refusal to take him out is going to cost him the game. Are they going to go for the fake bunt and then
Oh,
knock it out of the park?
oh,
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. We're watching here. We're trying to feed you in what's going on.
Maddie lined out to center.
What? How you're ahead of me?
Now I'm ahead of you. That's crazy. How am I ahead of you? You're watching on TV.
I don't know. Lean in YouTube TV.
Listen, our audio podcast listeners are going to be like, "What the hell is going on?"
It's like so.
For
We're
those that
trying
don't
to
know, Jake and Mon are trying to watch the Reds win their
we're trying to
third
bring
game of
good
the
luck.
season.
All right, come on, Ellie. Here we go. Ellie's up. Let me give you a rundown. Ellie is up. Runner on first, 2 outs. Reds are down 1-0. How about
Maybe
Ellie?
we should talk some Timberwolves basketball while you guys watch this.
No.
That'll really
You know
get
what?
the numbers up.
You texted that about that was a soft foul to cause a brawl like that. That was such a soft foul.
Well, did you see the? I don't know if you watched the lead up to it. It was the lead up to it. The Detroit Pistons player was very similar to the players of the '90s. He was calling them names for probably 4 or 5 series, really the whole game. But the plays before that was worse. But yeah, to get heated like that and to spill over into the stands was pretty crazy, and it's going to hurt our team tonight because we have a must-win game against the Nuggets, and those players are suspended again, so
let's
not going to be
let's
great.
let's talk about real quick. We do have Thursday night. Are we doing
Yeah, so
Thursday, right?
let's well, we're definitely going to be back Thursday night. We're waiting to see if our draft guru Justin's going to be available while you guys are watching the Ellie try and win the game here. The plan for Thursday night is that there's a lot that we left on the table tonight. Somehow we got here hour and 22 minutes in without talking about the Zach Taylor's comments on the players playing more in preseason. So we're going to talk that on Thursday. Zach Taylor also commented on some of the players that are on the roster that there's speculation they won't be on the roster. And we also got a bunch of new NFL rules that dropped. So we're going to talk about the kickoff rule changes. We're going to talk about the changes to how first downs are measured and some of the rules that didn't go through. The Lions proposed no automatic first down for defensive holding, and that got shot down. What else? What else did they propose? The tush push got delayed, so we have a lot of stuff to talk about Thursday, and hopefully we can get our draft guru Justin on here to go to a 6 round draft and really dive into some of that. We get into these later rounds. We may not know all these guys, but Justin watches so much college football that he could pretty much Mel Kiper it and pick out some of those guys. Got an update? What do we got, Jake? You look like that was a strikeout.
It's over. Yeah, TJ Friedel got advanced to second on a wild pitch, and Ellie ground out to the first baseman. Very
there's always tomorrow.
Non-dramatic. You hate losing 1-0. That's the worst, isn't it, Mon? Losing 1-0 at home. Come on, Terry. Come on, let's go. Let's get this thing.
Is it as bad as missing the extra point to win the game opening week against the Steelers?
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. Yes.
Right.
Well, no.
Honestly,
no,
that was the worst game ever.
No, Mon and I, listen, well, you were there too, right, Eric?
Yeah.
I mean, we were all there for that. That was heartbreaking.
Listen, I didn't miss a home game that season. I drove up for 9 home games.
I think Mon and I talked about this too. A Bengals loss is so much worse than a Reds loss because the Reds play 60 games. You know what I mean? There's always tomorrow. In the NFL, you saw this year, guys, every game matters. You cannot start 1-3 and think you're going to make the playoffs every year. In baseball, it's a little bit different. You could start 1-3, and the next week, you're back to 6-3. So it is what it is.
I just want to say one thing about that game. It was so bonkers, so crazy. We lost our long snapper. Wilcox came in. He couldn't snap it. We score a touchdown, no time left on the clock. We kick the extra point, the game's over. We go into overtime, miss field goals, all this. It's crazy. That game, if we won that game, the AFC Championship game that year was in Cincinnati, and there's no way we lose that game. We go to back-to-back Super Bowls. Every game matters in the NFL. Like Jake just said, in baseball, you can have a 1-0 loss. It sucks.
Yeah.
They got 158 more to go.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we'll talk more about the plans to get off to a better start on Thursday's episode. Jake, why don't you take us out of here? Thanks for joining, everybody.
All right, guys. As always, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on all the awesome podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. As always, guys, if you like this podcast, make sure you give us that 5-star review. We would very much appreciate that. As always, follow Mon on Twitter at TheFireMon. Follow me on Twitter at Coach Jake Owens 9. Follow Eric on Twitter. Woo, almost. Follow Eric on Twitter at eFlash2888. I almost pulled him on there. Follow the Wednesday Podcast Network on Twitter at Wednesday Pod. And as always, follow the Bengals Pulse on Twitter at Bengals_Pulse9. Same on Instagram without the app, Bengals_Pulse9. As always, guys, make sure you check out all the awesome podcasts right here on the Cincinnati Podcast Network. He is Mon, the villain. I am Jake, the hero. That is Eric.
I'm wearing white. I'm wearing white. White is for the, this turned into the MDA telethon, like a 24-hour telethon with Jerry Lewis.
Listen, as Olivia will say, Jake's the anti-hero.
Okay.
Good day,